Right. Let us talk about the pyramids. Specifically, let us talk about the absolutely baffling fact that for thousands of years, human beings have looked at these enormous, perfectly constructed, mathematically precise stone structures sitting in the middle of the Egyptian desert, and the best explanation most of us have managed to come up with is, quote, "Some blokes built it." Some blokes. With ropes. And enthusiasm. Now look, I am not saying aliens built the pyramids. I want to be very clear about that up front before the comments section loses its mind. What I am saying is that when you actually sit down and look at the numbers, the engineering, the precision, and the timeline, the official story starts to raise some rather uncomfortable questions that nobody seems particularly keen to answer. Let us start with the basics, shall we? The Great Pyramid of Giza. Built around 2560 BC, give or take. It stands 146 meters tall, which made it the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. It contains approximately 2.3 million stone blocks. Each block weighs on average 2.5 to 15 tons. Some of the granite blocks used in the interior chambers weigh up to 80 tons. And the entire structure is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 0.05 degrees. Not magnetic north, true north. In 2560 BC, when the most advanced navigational technology available was presumably squinting at stars and having a guess. Here is where it gets interesting. Modern engineers have actually tried to figure out how you build something like this using only the tools available in ancient Egypt. No steel, no cranes, no machinery of any kind. Just copper tools, wooden sledges, rope, and an awful lot of people. And the conclusion most of them reach is, well, it is technically possible. Probably. If you had an absolutely enormous workforce, an extremely long time, and everything went perfectly. Which, as anyone who has ever attempted a home renovation will tell you, nothing ever does. The official timeline says the Great Pyramid was built in approximately 20 years. 20 years. 2.3 million blocks. That works out to roughly 800 blocks placed per day. Or one block every 2 minutes, around the clock, 7 days a week, for 2 straight decades without stopping. Each block quarried, transported, lifted, and placed with millimeter precision. Every single day, for 20 years. By people using copper chisels and wooden rollers. During which time they also presumably needed to eat, sleep, and not die of exhaustion. And the precision is what really keeps engineers up at night. The base of the Great Pyramid covers 53,000 square meters and is level to within 2.1 centimeters across the entire surface. 2.1 centimeters across 53,000 square meters. Modern construction crews with laser leveling equipment would be proud of that result. The ancient Egyptians apparently achieved it with string and water channels. Impressive does not quite cover it. Now here is the theory that the archaeology community finds deeply uncomfortable to discuss at dinner parties. The pyramid was not built by slaves, despite what every Hollywood film has ever suggested. We know this because in 1990, archaeologists discovered the actual workers' village near Giza. They found bakeries, breweries, medical facilities, and graves. The workers were fed well, received medical care, and were buried with respect. These were skilled, organized, paid workers, not slaves. Which raises the next obvious question: how did a Bronze Age civilization organize, feed, house, and medically support a workforce of tens of thousands of highly skilled people, all working on a single construction project for 20 years, while simultaneously running an entire country? Some researchers have pointed out that the pyramid is not just a tomb. The internal chambers, the air shafts, the weight distribution system, the descending and ascending passages, these suggest an understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and structural engineering that simply should not exist in 2560 BC. The pyramid encodes the value of pi in its dimensions. It encodes the golden ratio. The ratio of its height to its base perimeter is the same as the ratio of the radius of a circle to its circumference. These are not coincidences. You cannot accidentally build pi into a structure made of 2.3 million stone blocks. Someone knew what they were doing. The question is how. And then there is the Orion correlation theory, which is either brilliant or completely mad, depending on who you ask. In 1983, researcher Robert Bauval noticed that the three pyramids of Giza are not in a straight line. They are offset, and the offset matches precisely the alignment of the three stars in Orion's belt as they appeared in the sky around 10,500 BC. Not 2560 BC, 10,500 BC, which is roughly 8,000 years before the pyramids were supposedly built. Now, either this is an extraordinary coincidence, or someone was planning a very long-term construction project with genuinely impressive commitment to the original vision. So where does that leave us? Did humans build the pyramids? Almost certainly yes. Did they do it using only the methods we currently understand? That is considerably less certain. The honest answer, which archaeologists are increasingly willing to admit privately, if not publicly, is that we do not fully know how it was done. We have theories. We have experiments. We have some very confident-sounding documentaries. But the actual complete explanation, the one that accounts for every block, every measurement, every alignment, the timeline, the organization, the precision, that explanation does not entirely exist yet. And that is what makes the pyramids so endlessly fascinating. They are not just old buildings, they are a 4,500-year-old question that the most advanced civilization in human history still cannot definitively answer. Which says something rather humbling about us, if you think about it. We can land a robot on Mars. We can sequence the human genome. We can video call someone on the other side of the planet while sitting on a train. And we still cannot fully explain how a Bronze Age civilization stacked some rocks together quite so neatly. Next week on StickHis, we are diving into Atlantis. Not the resort in the Bahamas. The lost civilization that Plato described in 360 BC and that historians have been arguing about ever since. Was it real? Where was it? And why does the description sound uncomfortably like somewhere that actually exists? Subscribe so you do not miss it. Same stickman, different mystery.